good day here. You're gonna have to forgive me for this video. I'm a little under the weather. I got a sinus infection over the weekend. It's just now kind of clearing out, but it's still in my throat. And I hope you see what I did there. Forgive me on a video of forgiveness. So stay tuned and we'll talk about that. But hopefully you saw last week's video. It was my dad getting baptized finally. And it was a really great video. If not, you can click up there and go to it real quick and come right back here and see what we talk about today with forgiveness. So without any further ado, here's your Monday morning encouragement. Matthew chapter 18, verse, we'll just start in 21. Really, the verse is 22. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? And then Jesus saith unto him, I say not unto thee 7 times, but until 70 times 7. So some people say it's 77 times, or it's 70 times 7, which is like 400 something. Either way, it's a lot of times. So Jesus basically is telling us here to live a life of forgiveness. The idea of forgiveness God gives us in a parable. Jesus does a parable right below this verse about the unforgiving servant. It's a servant who is forgiven much and then goes and wrestles somebody and throws them in jail because they didn't forgive him. And it's a really good parable, kind of paralleling and giving us a good understanding of what Jesus means by how we are to forgive. Can't go over it in this video, it's a little long, I don't have that much time, but in your own time, read through that parable and you can really see and get and understand the idea that Jesus tries to give to us is our relationship to the Father, His forgiveness to us, and that forgiveness we are to spread out to others in hopes to bring them into the kingdom with us. And so I want to talk about that today because it seems like in our day and age, in our life, it seems very hard to understand. Sometimes there's things that people do that seems like we should not be forgiving them, I mean, there's instances I'm sure you can think of in your own mind where, very, very bad things happen, I'm not talking about little Billy calling you a catfish biscuit head. Can you forgive him? Of course you can. I'm talking about evil and insane and insidious, nasty things that happen to people, and how do we forgive those types of people, rapists, murderers, pedophiles, these type of people? Are we to forgive them? I mean, should we? I mean, Jesus is saying, we got to forgive 70 times 7. Is that what he's saying, is to forgive them? And so I want to tackle that question today because it's very hard to understand, especially in our culture, right? So first off, our entire relationship with God is predicated on His forgiveness of us, right? How a holy and perfect God can be in a relationship with vastly flawed, sinful, imperfect beings. And it's all through Jesus Christ and what He did. His mercy and His grace was poured out on us through the cross of Christ, right? So it starts out, our entire relationship with God, the very beginning, starts with us putting our faith in what Jesus did for us on the cross, dying and being raised again, right? And that is His forgiveness. The fact that He was able to pour out His wrath on Christ in our place to be able to wash away our sins, right? So the mark of a Christian, if you've been saved and you've been born again, the mark that you're wearing, whether you know it or not, is forgiveness. So you are literally marked with forgiveness, which is kind of cool. So that means you should be like a super forgiving person, right? Well, in this day and age, it seems like our culture has found a way to tie 2 words together that don't necessarily go together, right? When we think of forgiveness, we think of reconciliation, right? And so I want to talk about the difference of those two. Forgiveness, like I said, is a mark that the Christian wears, and it's something we should do regardless of who it is, where we're at, what we're doing, what has been done. We should be in a state of mind of forgiveness. I have a definition here I'm going to read. Forgiveness is a state of mind or a state of being that is always informed by what God did for people. Forgiveness and patience from God, even though there may be consequences, Christ taught that forgiveness is a duty and that no limit should be set to the extent of forgiveness. So even though we know that there are evil people in the world and that they deserve bad things, it doesn't mean you can't forgive them. If a murderer came into the house, God forbid, and hurt anybody or killed anybody, Jesus is saying I should still be able to forgive them. That doesn't mean they get off of their consequences, right? They still need to go to jail. They still need to be tried by law and put away either for life or the death penalty, depending on what the judge finds guilty. But that doesn't mean you can't forgive them, right? Now, reconciliation is different. The definition here is a change in relationship between the offended and the offender. So take, for instance, us and God, right? If God just forgave us, then we would still have to pay the price. But Jesus paid the price, and he reconciled us to God, allowing us to be in a relationship with him, right? So forgiveness and reconciliation, they do go hand in hand, but often we permanently submit them together, when in reality, all Jesus is saying is, hey, we need to be able to have a forgiving spirit. Reconciliation depends on really the circumstance. If someone is hurt severely bad or they lose a loved one, and maybe God is putting it on their heart to go to that jail, to that person and witness to them and bring them to the gospel, hey, that's reconciliation. That's beautiful, and it happens. There are hundreds of stories of that happening. But forgiveness alone is the mark we wear. It's something we want to give out freely as it was given to us, because God loved us first, and that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us, and we only love him because he first loved us. So I don't know what's going on in your life today. Maybe there's somebody that's just getting over on you all the time, and you're kind of harboring bitterness towards them, or who knows. There's a plethora of situations in life where forgiveness is required. And I want to encourage you today, think about what God did for us, and what the reconciliation that happened, and have a forgiving heart. Bitterness, I've heard, is a poisonous pill that you swallow hoping that the other person dies. In reality, you're just hurting yourself, right? So go out today, have a forgiving spirit the rest of the week. No matter what comes your way, be ready to forgive, because, hey, let's face it, we're all human. We all make mistakes. We all mess up. And just thank God that Jesus was perfect, and he took our place for us, and we got a place in heaven, so there's no reason we can't forgive somebody today. I love y'all. Have a great week and an even better Monday. As always, have a blessed day.